I don't want to have anything to do with creative anymore. I don't want to write the show. I don't want to get involved. I have too much going on. That's why we need to get you a partner, and you guys need to do the TV. Bro, this is 1997. 26 years later, this dude is still involved in the creative.
Still is, man.
Woo.
Playing God is fun.
Ricochet, he said this. He said when it comes to Vince, he said Vince is still involved and Vince is still talked to. He told Joe Baiamonte from Sports. He also said he's still someone that everyone looks to, especially with creative. So he's got his fingers in everything too. Now this is it's interesting because that's a bit contradictory to what he said in his interview when he was right next to Ari Emanuel. So EC3, you were talking about that. You had some thoughts?
Yeah, no, it just sounded like when we talked about the other week, the Triple H ability to side swipe an answer or just kind of sidestep.
Yeah.
That, I don't know what the hell he just said. That's lingo for Vince is around and he makes everybody miserable. That's
right. Yeah. A lot of these wrestlers, they've donned the art of sidestepping when it comes to interviews too, and a lot of interviewers they don't want to like press the button a little bit more because they're like, oh man, we might never interview him again. But hey, look, you got to take every interview like it's potentially your last, man. So at least you're going to get more here and nothing later, or nothing here and potentially nothing later too.
Ricochet's head would have exploded if the guy was like, well, are you happy Vince is in a creative position? He'd have been like, I can't compute what I do. Like this
must go back to the locker.
Well, Chris, the funny thing is because all of this came out after we did our show on Monday. Remember we talked about Seth Rollins, and then, so at the end of the show, I can't compete tonight, but I'm going to be there tomorrow. Well, why did that happen, bro? Because Vince changed the entire first segment. Yep. So now he changed the entire first segment, and there were other pieces after that made zero sense.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And it's interesting because, like I was saying, he was doing his interview when they talked about, like, fresh off the announcement of the Endeavor purchase. He was next to Ari Emanuel. He was just saying that he doesn't even have the time to be as hands-on as he wants to be or used to be. But from Ricochet's account and other people's accounts, he's just about as hands-on as he used to be. Now, why do you think, speaking of sidestepping answers, he did a lot of that during that interview, by the way. So, Vince, when it comes to that, do you think that he was just trying to patronize during his interview to the point to move on from a question, knowing that he was going to be hands-on even from the very beginning of when he came back to the WWE?
I think, bro, you really have to look at, and we'll never know this because we're not in Vince's body and Vince's head, thank God. But you really got to look at what
I am in his mustache, by the way.
Yeah. You really got to look at what exactly did he say, Chris? Give me the exact what he said.
He said Vince is still involved and Vince is still.
No. What Vince said on that interview about not being in the weeds, or
he said he doesn't have time to be in the woods or something like that.
In the weeds, yeah. Well, see, when he says, I'm gonna be involved in the big picture, but I'm not gonna have time to be in the weeds. You gotta ask it. What does that mean to Vince? what is in the weeds means? Like, bro, in the weeds to Vince could mean, yeah, bro, I'm really not going to get involved with Johnny Gargano creatively. Like, that could be in the weeds with Vince. So when Vince says in the weeds, that could mean something completely different than what it means to us.
Vince says this.
Yes.
Verbatim. He says, yes and no. On a higher level, yes, in the weeds. Which you always love to get in the weeds in the past. No, can't do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What is in the weeds to Vince McMahon? That's what you got to ask yourself. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. What is in the weeds?
I mean, bro, in the weeds to Vince McMahon could be NXT. Right?
But he was never involved in that, so it's just sidestepping.
Yeah.
He was never in, like, that would be true. He wouldn't be in the, but he was never in the weeds when it came to NXT anyways. So EC3, you have anything to share with that? You were there.
In the weeds in server lingo means I got a 6-top, a 4-top, and I got a food run too. Like, what is in the weeds to Vince? He's too busy running a $1 billion company and fighting lawsuits and writing professional wrestling. Yeah, I'd imagine that dude lives in the weeds. But he can easily, as a leader should, delegate duties to people that he can trust and allow them as professionals to make the proper decisions and oversee that. But Vince is his own worst enemy because it seems as though he's taken on way more responsibilities of an already super impossible gig of what he was doing. He doesn't have people to rely on.
Yeah.
That he trusts to go make the decisions while he can focus on what needs to be focused on, which for him is probably a warm bath and a hot cup of milk and 8 hours of sleep.
Chris, believe this or not, but I swear to God, bro, in 1997, when it was just me and Vince writing the TV, he took Cornette out of creative. And then it was like, Vince, we got to find you a writing partner. And that's when we brought in Ed Ferrara. Bro, when I had that conversation with Vince about finding me a writing partner, this is 1997. Vince said to me, Vince, I don't want to have anything to do with creative anymore. I don't want to write the show. I don't want to get involved. I have too much going on. That's why we need to get you a partner and you guys need to do the TV. Bro, this is 1997. 26 years later, this dude is still involved in the creative.
It was, man.
Woo.
Playing God is fun.
Yes. And you better believe, ladies and gentlemen, that he is in the weeds. Yes, indeed. Speaking of in the weeds, it's such an alley-oop that I was going to say that's not true, but I'm going to go smoke some weed with these two. No, I'm not going to do that, by the way.
I am very anti-THC. I think it makes people lethargic and lazy. Okay? And you don't need it to sleep, guys.
I need it to sleep, bro.
There's a lot of neurological setbacks when I can go all doctor on when it comes to THC that I'm not a big fan of. So if you're interested, hey, tweet me at Chris Prolific and I'll tell you what. This guy right here is former WCW World Heavyweight Champion Vince Russo, and Mr. Center Square himself, former TNA World Heavyweight Champion, current NWA National Heavyweight Champion EC3 from CYN, currently NWA. And he's still got a outstanding invitation to Goldberg, but I think that he's been out promoted by Ryback.
Ryback got me, man. Big guy got it. So
Indeed. Hi, I'm Dr. Chris. This is the Wrestling Outlaws. Have a good night, everybody. Solo.